Do. Alrighty, so figures do more live stuff. Throw the camera on while I work. So I got up, started working about 30 minutes ago on getting her sanded, and she's looking pretty messy right now, but that's just part of it. But this is going to just show me any areas that need some spot putty work. If I can sand it out, I sand it out. If not, I'll do a little spot putty. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to, once I get her all sanded and washed, I'm going to go ahead and just fill in this little line right here, I think, because it's not very good. And I'm not going to kill myself to try to rescribe that little line. It's just from here to here on both sides of on the butt. So I think my time is best ever just filling it in, sanding it smooth, and not kill myself over that little tiny detail that no one's going to ever notice. So just going through and sanding everything. And so when I'm doing this, what I'm looking for is stuff like this. I'm not sure if you can see, but see those sanding scratches? That's for my initial prep. Right there, right there. So that's why this first layer of primer, basically it's all sanded off. This is going to show me all my little, where I was a little aggressive in sanding, like my little blade slipped there when I was scribing that line, so I'm just sand that out. So I got a fine grit, a super fine, and an ultra fine sanding sponge. So if I need to sand something out, I go with the fine sanding sponge, which is about 320, 400, and I get it to until the little imperfection is gone. And then I go back in with the superfine sanding sponge. And the primer, superfine is plenty fine for the primer. It's about a 600 grit sanding sponge, so the Styler's will fill any scratches in like that. You know, ultrafine is ideal. It's like an 800, 7 to 800. So it's just, you know, least finer sanding scratches, but yeah, so this step is just to go in and check my initial prep, see if anything pops out that needs additional work as far as putty work or anything like that. The only things that I have kind of stuck in the back of my head right now are the neckline where I put the head on to try to get that to blend a little bit better. I see a couple little things that bug me. Would anyone else notice it? No, but I notice it and it's bugging me, so I just want to make sure I clean that up. And where I put the arms on, there's a little bit of extra sanding and blending I want to do to get those to, I already did this arm over here, but after I put primer on, you can see there's a pretty good gap. At least I can see it. I'm not sure you can see it in the camera. There's a pretty good mornings with Matt. I like that. I'm gonna start my own TV station. Pretty good gap where I filled it in with the Milliput and sanded it and everything yesterday and got that in primer before I went live. And so, I mean, again, it's kind of starting a little bit earlier than normal. Usually I start at 8, but past few days I started at, like yesterday I started like 7:15. Today I started at 7:30. Just to get, because I gotta get, I really need to get skin tones on her today, so those can dry, because there's gonna be a lot of masking on this one. If the suit was going any other color than white, like if it was gonna go black, I could hand paint it, but since it's gonna go white, I gotta mask it all and spray it. So there's gonna be a lot of intricate masking in this. Yeah, some of the detail lines in the suit are just really not. I try to describe them, but they're, I think it's in the initial sculpt. There's one back here I'll probably fill into, right here along the back. We'll see. I don't want to kill myself scrabbling. I may rescribe. We'll see. So this is the fun part of this kit, because since you have to put her all together before you paint or anything, it's really hard to get in all these areas. And if you look really close at the artist proof that Jim Capone painted, some of those lines that I'm talking about in the bathing suit, they're not even there. Like, they got kind of lost in the sculpt a little bit. Which is part of the sculpting, molding, and casting process. Sometimes little things like that can get lost. It's not a big deal. There's nothing major that's like, oh my gosh, that swimsuit's missing that little seam right there. But when you look at something like this up close for as long as I have, you notice those little things. It's like, ah, should I worry about it? Should I, you know? Actually got quite a bit done on this already. This morning, just sanding wise. So we're gonna get this all sanded down. I'm gonna give it another good scrubbing, and then it'll be bath time. And then we'll look at if I need to do any spot putty work other than those few little areas I mentioned. And then we'll do that. Let that dry for 20 minutes or so. And then we'll sand those down and get so if I get skin tones on her today, that'd be really, really good. I may have to take a break and go to the hobby store because I'm just about out of my Stynylrez Flesh. I need to order another bottle. It's like my go-to base coat for skin tones. It's just a good neutral starting point. A lot of guys start with white, and like John Allred starts with white. I've done that in the past. I don't know, it's like that neutral, the natural, whatever it's called. What is this? Light Flesh. So this is kind of like, actually I have just enough in here I think to do this kit. This is Light Flesh. It's got a little pink, it's got a little bit of yellow, so that kind of acts as my yellow tone in the skin. Just to get a little bit of yellow. Okay, so where I'm seeing kind of a lot of, again, this is in the sculpt, or in the casting, is there any straps just come. Okay, so I'm going to use an ultra fine sanding sponge. I don't want to sand these too much. There's some, I don't want to kill any of the details. Now right here in this arm, where I added this arm on. I'm gonna come here with the fine sanding sponge first because my initial sanding was not perfect. Just right along this edge of this strap. That looks pretty good. I can come in and clean that up with the. So far, I've had good adhesion. I haven't had any of the weird thing where the primer wants to flake off. I gave her basically like a triple bath yesterday before I put any primer on. I scrubbed her down, rinsed her off, scrubbed her down, rinsed her off. I do know I need to do some spot putting the hairs. Where the mold line was, it's more of a mold slip, but it's a pretty good, like, I don't know what you call it, like a seam. It's not a seam, but it's like it's not a crack, like a It's an area that just needs some putty work. Like, I'm not sure, like other painters, if they go through all these priming and sanding stages that I do when I do girl kits, man. But I do girl kits. I'm like, I want the skin as smooth as possible. That's why I do several rounds of priming and sanding. A little imperfection there, and that's in the mold or in the casting. And this just comes from my auto body background. Like, this is what you do to prep for paint. Sand, prime, sand. And hopefully when you get that last round of primer down, you don't see any imperfections. Now, guaranteed, as I'm painting, I'll see little shit that I missed. It always happens. But in that stage of the game, if I didn't see it until I started painting, no one's ever going to notice it. So I don't go back and try to, unless it's just something blaring, like a big bubble or something. But I always find stuff. So I'm going to Houston tomorrow, so maybe I'll do Matt on the Move tomorrow. I'll be in the car for 8 hours, 4 hours there, and 4 hours back, doing a day trip down to Houston to drop stuff off and then pick one up and come back. So maybe I'll do it tomorrow if I remember. I might have my son with me in the car. I'm trying to get him to come with me so he's just not sitting in his room all damn day. So yeah, so if I'm like painting and I see a little imperfection, usually if I haven't noticed until then, because sometimes it takes until you get color on too to see stuff. I typically won't fuss with it, because if I hadn't seen it till then, no one's ever going to notice it. And like I said, my work is not perfect. I do my best, but yeah, it's like at some point you just gotta say, okay, that's good enough, you know. I mean, Matt on the Move is the same as this. I'm just not moving. I'm working. Technically, I'm moving. My hands are moving. I'm sanding. Little imperfections in these straps as I sand. They're pretty minor. And I'm looking for imperfections. I'm also keeping in mind, like, what's the painting technique I'm going to do. If I'm going to do any dry brushing, that's when it's really important to get any really imperfections out, because if you don't get those out as soon as you dry brush it, those will pop out like a sore thumb. So if I'm just going to airbrush something, I can get away a little bit without getting every little bump and nick and stuff out. when you start dry brushing, that's like in a 3D print. If I know I'm doing dry brushing, I've got to get all the print artifacts out, because as soon as I hit that with the dry brush, you're going to bring that imperfection out in a second. So I'm always keeping in mind, okay, am I just going to airbrush that air? I'm going to dry brush it. So like these are the leather straps for the air tanks, the air tank. So I got to make sure that any little imperfection I see, I get that out, because I'm going to dry brush it a little bit. And if I don't get it out, my dry brushing will bring it out. And it's like, oh shit, well that looks stupid. There's like a little bump in the resin there, or a little casting imperfection. So it's important to get those out. Okay, now the toughest area to sand is underneath her neckline here. But there is a spot right here. Now I did this before her arm was on, so let's see if I can get in there with this sanding sponge. It's like I didn't like the way they cut the neck right here, because it kind of, I don't know, it's just weird. I'm going to do my best to get in there. I'm not sure how else they would cut it. I want to stay away from really sanding her face too much, because I don't want to sand her eyebrows off. I have done that in the past on accident. I've gone to clean up female face, and oh, she has no eyebrows now. I'm more concerned about underneath the neckline, where the head was attached. And there's going to be some decent sanding scratches there just from cleaning up the putty work. So take care of those. And she's got two more little pieces, strands of hair I got to put on. I think I'm going to wait to put those on, because they're pretty fragile, and I don't want to accidentally break them off as I paint. So I probably won't put those on until I get to the hair. So when I thin Tamiya paints, actually those, so Tamiya paints, the thinner stretches them out really, really well. It also depends on the color. I always thin my paint until it sprays the way I want. You know, there's general rules of thumb, but I don't ever measure. I pour a little thin, mix it. Pour a little more in, fix it. If it's coming out and spattering too much, I got too much thinner. If it's spattering, I got too much paint. If it's coming out in a spider webbing, I got too much thinner. So I don't ever measure. I just kind of do it by feel and the way it looks what comes out on my airbrush. So I don't. People are always asking my thinning ratios. Like, thin it till it sprays the way you want. That's always my recommendation. Sometimes you want a splatter effect, so you under thin it. Sometimes you want it to be really, really thin. Like yesterday, I was trying to get the damn white to spray to do those little markings on the octopus. It was way, way over thin. It was like it was almost, the white was like translucent. You could see through it. But I finally got it thinned the way I want. My airbrush adjusted the way I want, so I could put on those little markings on the octopus before I put the clear colors on. It just took me a while to get there. I'm not used to spraying paint that thin, so it's a balancing act. But yeah, I don't have a thin it 2 to 1. I mean, Mr. Color in general is like a 2 to 1, 1.5 to 2 to 1 mixing ratio. That's what they recommend. Again, it will depend on the color. Some colors need more, some need less. Because some colors just have more pigment in them. Okay, well, I'm not going to futz with this too much because I don't want to lose her ear. I'm going to sand over the spot right here in her ears right there. I want to. It's just this one little spot that's bugging the shit out of me. No one's ever gonna notice it, but it's like it kind of popped out. I put primer on it yesterday, but I think once I paint it, it'll be fine. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm almost ready to give this girl a bath and do a little bit of spot putty work. me try to sand her chest a little bit because I want that really smooth. I think I'm going to do most of my shading with pan pastels on this because there's no way I'll be able to get an airbrush in some of these areas to add any shape. Especially going around in the chest area and the face. It's going to be really tough to get an airbrush in there. Get the right angles. So it's going to be mostly pastels on this guy. This girl, I should say. Don't know if I'm really seeing in there. I need like a stick. There we go. So I'm using ultra fine sanding sponge in this area because I'm having to go along her suit line quite a bit. And I don't want to lose that. So a little imperfection here in her neck, so I try to get it out. It's probably not worth me risk losing some detail somewhere. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good. Yep, you can sand. Yeah, you can do that. You can see them with anything. They're just a pastel. They're not, they're not paint. So I actually may go get for her skin. If you follow Anya Shantanina, she's a friend of mine. She's a fantastic painter. She doesn't do commissions, but she should. She could actually make a pretty good living if she did commissions, but she likes to paint for herself. Um, there's a flat coat and I've used it before, but she uses it all the time. It's from Bear. It's basically a clear. It's a clear chalk paint, and it's great for skin tones. So I'm gonna go get some of that today. I used to have a bunch, but I haven't bought in a while. Get it at Home Depot. It's a great sealer for skin. So I may do that because I think I'm gonna do the suit and the flippers in a semi-gloss. I'm gonna give a nice little. So I do have one little issue here that on this belt there was a little tab. I mean it's so small. It broke off. It's not there. I think it broke off. I don't even think it was ever there on my kit. It may have broken off in shipping and it fell out of the box. So I have to decide if I want to try to sculpt that or not even worry about it. I may try to just round that off. It's such a small little piece. I don't think I could sculpt it on. There's like nothing to adhere putty to. There's no surface area. So I think I may just round off the part that's sticking up to make it look like it's. Let's get this. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good. Alexa, stop alarm. I'm gonna go give her a really good scrubbing. She looks pretty nasty right now, but it's just all the wet stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not a belt buckle. It's like a little. It's like it's like I guess it's the tail end of the belt after you tighten it, the leftover piece, and it's literally like a millimeter long. It's missing. It's super tiny. The belt buckle's there. It's just a little bit. So I think I'm just gonna round it off because it's like just flapping and it's rounded. So I'm just gonna round that off. I think there's no area. There's no surface area to attach um, a piece to. Like, I don't know if I could sculpt. I don't know where how it's sculpted on. So I'll just make it. I'll just adapt. And I thought about. I mentioned earlier. I thought about sculpting this belt around because I thought that looks really weird. And then I reached out to someone and he's like, no, it's like the belt. Her belt has been broken off because the tank is floating away from her body. So it's like it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, at first it didn't make sense to me, but I guess it makes sense now that someone explained to me why it's like that. All right, she needs a really good scrubbing and bath. I'll be back in a little bit. This is Badger Stynylrez primer. It's like my go-to primer now. I used to use Krylon, but they changed the formula and I can't get the what I want anymore. So I don't, unfortunately, I can't. So this is Badger Stynylrez. It sprays. When you first spray it, you gotta shake the ever living shit out of it because it separates. So like if this bottle's been sitting for a while, it'll separate and you'll see like all the primers down here and all the carriers up here. So just shake the ever living shit out of it. And when you put it on, it looks like crap. When you first put it on, don't be surprised. It doesn't look very good, but it levels out nicely. So that's my go-to, and it sands really well. It dry sands, it wet sands. Yeah, it's actually really good. scrubbed her down and rinsed her off 3 times. Hey, John. Yeah, the Sonora is good, man. The first time I used it, it's like, man, this spray is like shit. But then once it dried, it was really smooth. I don't think I mentioned this, but I added a brass rod in this pin. It goes from here all the way into her body, just so that this wouldn't break off in the future. So I got I think it's a 5/32 brass rod going from here into her body. Okay, so I'm gonna hit this with the hair dryer. I'm gonna do the spot putty. That's gotta dry for a little while. So I'll be in a holding pattern for 20-30 minutes. Okay. Let me get all this wet stuff out of the way. Okay, just gonna use Bondo Spot Glazing Putty, which is an air dry putty. So this stuff works pretty good. I don't use it a ton, but because it's air dry, but it sands really nice. So it's perfect for really small stuff. I see a few little spots here on the skin. I'm gonna just hit it real quick. And I just typically use my finger because I can put it on and I can put it on and kind of feather it out a little bit. So it's not pretty when you put it on, but that's going to get sanded. A little spot right here. And the thinner you put on, you can put some more on, but I like to let it dry for 20 minutes or so. If it's real thin, depending on what I do, and I have actually put it on and used lacquer, like just a damp cloth, and wiped it off real quick. That's typically like if I see something while I'm painting, it's like, oh, I need to fix that. It's you can kind of get away with that sometimes. So like I got a little spot right there. I try to sand it out, didn't want to come out, so I'll hit that little spot putty. There's some area in the, actually that I'm going to put that in the hair. I'm going to use a Q-tip to put that on. It's in the hair. This is where the mold line was, but it's not really, it's kind of, A little bit more, I can tell it didn't fill it in. Yeah, you put this stuff on too thick and it'll never dry, so you just gotta be careful. It's better to put it on thin, let it dry, and then add more than try to put, because again, it's air dry, so it's got to be exposed to the air for it to dry. Let's see, I'm gonna fill in this detail line on the swimsuit there. Let's check the skin over anymore. Areas on the skin. Those ones that really stuck out to me. A spot here on the ink, I could probably throw some in. And this will adhere on top of primer as long as it's been sanded a little bit. So I'll put it right on top of primer too. A little pin mark here. Okay. Well, that sanding and prep pays off because. Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna fill in this little detail line on the back of the suit here. Hopefully this will fill it in. Let's see. What I don't want to do is get putty on her skin there. Keep that clean. Okay, that fills that in. Put this on a little thicker. Kind of dabbing it, make sure it gets down in that line. We got some really small bubbles right here too. I was fighting. I thought I filled them, but apparently I didn't. They're still there. Okay, it's not pretty, but when it sands down, it should be fine. What else? Anything else I see? See, this is already pretty much dry right there, but we'll let that dry really, really well. There's a few other little areas I could sand a little bit more just from my from the sanding I just did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let all this putty dry. I mean, I don't see anything right now sticking out. Who knows? I may throw more primer and see something, but those are the main areas I want to address. So just put that aside. These little strands of hair. Now this, I don't know, but this kit, the mold release on it, I can tell there's a lot of it because like I've washed these parts like 3 times and they're still. I'm still convinced there's mold release on, so I'm gonna sand them a little bit because they're really slippery and super shiny. So that tells me that this mold release just doesn't want to come off. But these will have to get glued on, a little bit of putty work. I just don't want to do it right now because I don't want to actually break them off while I work on everything else. So they're kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere. So I just want to get these a little scuff. I'm going to try just so that my primer's going to stick and paint's going to stick. Well, I'm looking at this now. I may have to put this on now because I might have to putty right up to the hairline. I don't want to do that after she's been painted. So, ugh. Yeah, I think I gotta put this on. I also have to be careful. I'm always going back and look at Jim Capone's paint up, and he didn't fill that gap. It's very small. Let's see what it looks like. I could probably get away without having to. Yeah, I think I'd rather not put this on. And I think it might it's right in this, so right between two hairs. I think it's going to be okay. So I think we're all right. I'm not going to do that. Alrighty. So I've got to wait for this to dry. There's nothing to do right now, guys, but hang out. Let this dry for 30 minutes or so. So I'll use an ultra fine sanding sponge, which is about, so when you look up sanding sponges, you look up grits, they give you a range. So I use 3 grits. I use fine, super fine, and ultra fine. Fine is about 320 to 400. Super fine, I think they say, is around 500 to 600, and ultra fine is about 800. So you can get away with doing just super fine, which is about 600, and your primer will fill in the scratches. I like to go over with ultra fine, especially on the skin. So I've been on this. I finished sanding most of it in super fine, and plus I wet sanded it, and this sanding sponge is a little worn out. So as they get worn out, they don't cut as aggressively. So that's why I could get away with this fine sanding sponge, because it's an older sponge. I used it wet, so it doesn't cut as aggressively. So it kind of depends on how you're using it. If it's dry, it's going to cut more aggressively. But ultra fine, I would say 6 to 800 grit and you're fine. Anything below 600, 400, also depends on the primer you're using. So like the Stynylrest it's got some nice filling capabilities. If you're gonna use like a Mr. Surfacer, which is, they have 500, 1000, 1200, 1500. I think it goes up to 2000. The higher the number, the less filling power it has. So it depends on the primer you can use too. So if you need like a Ralcam primer, you can get away with 400 grit, probably even 320, no problem. But I like to do super fine or ultra fine. So anywhere from 6 to 800 grit, and you'd be in good shape. So that's kind of a complicated answer for an easy question, but there you go. Also depends if you're going to do gloss. So, you know. So I was looking at the octopus this morning, and I really, really love how he turned out. Really happy with this. He's really cool looking. Love the colors. I'm sure you can see in there, but I did some of that like kind of striping and stuff in the head. And you throw the clears on there, it all blends in. It just looks really, really nice. Now there is, when you put the tank on the base, there are some places where it hits, so I'll have to touch up this leather here and a little spot on the tank. A little brush touch up, so I'll just have to tell Tony that there's no way to avoid it. When things touch, paint can get scuffed, so it is what it is. Alright, well I'm going to throw something on the TV so while I'm waiting, because there's nothing to do but wait for putty to dry. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know. Let's see. I need to watch, started watching The Rings of Power season 2. I actually need to kind of go back and watch the first season so I know what's going on. I did start to watch season 2, the first episode. And there's so many damn characters with weird names, it's hard to know what's going on. Oh, what's this? Let me see this. That's what I want. Oh, it's got shitty reviews. Probably, I think it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. We'll put it on. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be back. That's not what I want. What's that?
I wonder how you see me, Aunt. If I am more than a thing to find the family thinks I'm broken. I'm not broken.
We gotta take whatever we decide is ours.
I'm not forced down through this. What is I ask? You in?
There is a forest in the west of Ireland that does not appear on any map. They say it draws in lost souls, like moths to a flame. No one can say exactly what lies inside. For those that wander in, never come back out.
You don't want to see my feet. That's put my feet up on the desk. Anyone seen this movie, The Watchers?
Was that wandering? There is a forest in the west of Ireland that does not appear on any map. They say it dwells on lost souls, like West or Fame. No one can say exactly what lies inside. For those that wander in, never come back out.
Oh, that's weird. Just waiting for Putty to dry. Nothing exciting right now. So we want to hang out while Putty dries. Like watching paint dry. When I said we're watching Putty dry. We should be ready to stand about 9:45. Excuse me. Alright, my order has been shipped. Let's see what should they get here. There maybe? Yes. He knows what I'll get. Alright, so my LEDs will get here tomorrow for Pikachu.
64 liter capacity, self-cleaning, moisture control so you don't get mold. Even as a high-tech feeding system, you won't have to lift your finger to keep your players happy. Sorry. Even though the animal felt like it really snuck. Can you come inside for a minute?
Can't take all of them.
See the Irish countryside?
Yeah.
I don't care about this. I don't look at the calendar.
My mom died 15 years ago today. Can I tell you that? I'm going out tonight. I'm trying not to die. And I thought you couldn't talk, little shit.
Thanks for this.
Nancy.
Really?
Valerie.
No way. That's class. Is it some kind of performance?
So I'm ready.
Caroline.
Don't look at me like that. It's just something I do sometimes. Like playing dress up. You wouldn't like me if you knew the real me. So what's your story? What are you running from? Mina is Lucy. Remember me? So, I guess you decided not to come to Mom's memorial. It was a beautiful ceremony. The choir sang Ave Maria. There were white flowers all over. I wasn't sure how the boys would handle it, but they're big now. They're smart, too. You should see how much they've grown. Listen, means I know you hated when I lecture you, but I'm really worried about you. I mean, it's been 15 years since she died. At some point, you just have to let it all go. Can you please just call me back? Proceed on this road for 106 kilometers to reach your destination. Wasn't sure how the boys would handle it, but they're big now. They're smart too. You should see how much they've grown. Listen, means I know you hated when I lecture you, but I'm really worried about you. I mean, it's been 15 years since she died. What is this place? He's got in the car. Come on. What happened?
This is a funny post on Facebook. Facebook should have a mutual block instead of mutual friends. Nothing brings people together like I hate that motherfucker too. That's funny. Oh my gosh. I'm still here, boys and girls. Just waiting for this putty to dry.
I think I'll call you darling. We're gonna die here together.
I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes.
Wanna dance?
Really? Also, you don't get me on.
Whole ecosystems. Environmental
Oh my god, this is tense.
Yeah, fried the best in the planet.
Okay.
64 litre capacity.
Tuesday.
Moisture controls so you don't get mold. Even as a high-tech feeding system, you won't have to lift a finger to keep your players happy. Mm. Sorry. You know the animal felt like it really smoked. Can you come inside for a minute? Someone I want you to meet. Cody and Kanye, beautiful breed, intelligent, fiercely loyal.
Can you tell?
I don't think so. Anyways, there's a zoo near Belfast that wants him within the week. It's about a day's journey. Sorry to have to ask right now.
I told you, I'm fine. I can take him slow.
Might be nice to get away, don't you think? See the Irish countryside.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This damn thing keeps fucking breaking.
15 years ago today.
Oh my
He's
gosh. Do it again.
I'm going out tonight. I'm trying not to die. I thought you couldn't talk, little shit.
There's a glue down to the tank. I'm kind of sticky. try this again. So we glue this onto the tank and
Don't look at me like that. It's just something I do sometimes. Like, clean dress up. You wouldn't like me if you knew the real me.
just put a foot of glue there.
So what's your story? What are you running from?
I'll just hold that while I wait for this thing to dry.
Marina is Lucy. Forever me. So, I guess you decided not to come to Mom's memorial. It was a beautiful ceremony. The choir sang Ave Maria. There were white flowers all over. I wasn't sure how the boys would handle it, but they're big now. They're smart, too. You should see how much they've grown. Plus, it means I know you hate it when I lecture you, but I'm really worried about you. I mean, it's been 15 years since you died. At some point, you just have to let it
What's up, Nick? Waiting for putty to dry.
back.
Let's put another 5 minutes and then we're gonna sand it down and do one more last little check on everything. And then get the sucker and primer. And then hopefully start laying some skin tones down.
They're smart too. You should see how much they've grown.
I'm actually gonna sand these thin areas. I could probably sand these now. So I'm wrapping this standing sponge in the backside of an X-Acto blade so I can get down this hair. for skin tones are you going to do? No, we're gonna do like real. Yeah. I don't even know how to do like animated skin tones, to be honest.
I think I'll call you Darwin.
So I'm gonna sand these few putty areas down. I'm gonna go give her another bath and dry her off and get some primer on this. And hopefully everything looks good.
If you care for your life, you're going to have to run. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Where did she come from?
Oh, God. Why bring you back into a place like this?
Mind your manners, both of you. What is happening? What is this place? We call it the Coop.
Who are you?
My name is Matthew. The girl is Kira, and the boy is Daniel. We're just like you. Lost. And you?
What?
Who are you? There's a
Okay.
to you.
I'm gonna give her another rinse.
We haven't much time. It's not wise to keep them waiting.
And hopefully we are good to go.
People come. They'll be very interested in someone new.
Wait. What's happening? Don't worry. It's not too bad. Just stay rest. Everything's gonna be alright.
Places, everyone?
I don't understand. Is someone coming?
We call them the Watchers.
Never go.
Here. I know you must be feeling very afraid, but I want you to know that you'll be all right. You will survive this night. The Watchers cannot come in. They just want to look at you.
They're out there. Yes, they are. It's a green on the other side. They come every night just like the sunset. They watch us until the sun rises again. It's strange at first, but you get used to it in time.
They're here.
Mina, take a step forward.
Go ahead. It's alright. What is that? What are they doing?
Close. What do you mean?
Okay. Bath time and then primer.
I can't stay here. I'm sorry. Good luck.
Let her go. I'm not the first to have tried giving up.
Okay, okay.
We all tried and failed at one time or another. Come with me. But first,
Just until the sun rises again. Strange fast moving.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the spray booth and put some primer on this. I will be back. And then I let that dry and I'll put the skin. We'll see if I need to do anything else. Hopefully I don't. And then we'll put the skin tone primer on. I'll be back.
known to cause hallucinations. If you're not careful, it can drive you mad. While in these woods, we are prey. But if you open your eyes, you can learn to master this place. The landmarks, positioned all across the forest in a nearly perfect circle. Each is about a half day's journey from the cover. If you stay within the boundary, there's hope of returning for nightfall. But if you choose to step over this line, there's no turning back. Who built it? That he will call him the Professor. Go along with him. The sun is passing its peak.
Good evening! What a joy we have for you tonight. The stranger, Mina, joins us again. Lord is busy to see what she'll do. Will she eat her dinner? Or will she refuse her plate like last night? Huh? Will she swim over her sheep feet? I have been fighting when she get up to piss in the bucket. Yeah, we're all on that top food. Like that. Let's begin.
What are we supposed to do? Just be yourself. That's all they want. They're like my dogs.
The world will be watching their every move. Who will find love? Who will make it out? On this season of Lair of Love.
Hours and 2 minutes of sunlight. May we meet again before dark. You can come with me. I won't mind.
Brunello Algaris. I make a paste from them for pain relief. Daniel gets splitting headaches. He's a sweet boy, doesn't need someone to take care of him. That's funny. John always figured that Daddy might fancy me. Told him it was being silly. John's my husband, by the way. We came to the forest together. He's very handsome. You'll see when you meet him. Where is he? He left 6 days ago. At first I thought he was something new. He hasn't come back. Not yet. Stoke is still back to go. Good for information, I think.
What do they want from us?
The Watchers. We're not quite sure. Madeline has a theory that just seeing one could drive a person mad. Come on, introduce me. We'll keep this between us, okay?
We're not supposed to go close to the burrows.
They're all over the forest. Connected underground like a system of tunnels. It's where the Watchers live during their hours. ones?
Lena, we should know. There are a few rules. Do not turn your back to the mirror. Do not open the door after dark. Do not open the other doors. Always stay in the light. It's important to remember that we are in their territory. The Watchers allow us to live because we follow their rules.
Listen to girls, that's nice. Chloe's just like so peg. Like when we was locking lips, it felt like the universe is just colliding. It felt right. Do you know what I mean? And I bet you, like, killer in the bedroom, like she's just got that look about her, that kind of like very look. And like, I think I can match that all the time. So I think.
Okie dokie. So I just got done putting primer on. So a few things that I found. Been doing putting on that primer. There's a bubble underneath her left boob, just a little pinhole, and my putty work did not work along this line here, so I'm gonna have to do that again. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why it didn't work. Worked on the other side, but I still see the bubbles in that little bit that line. So I'm gonna hit this with the hair dryer, force dry this, and redo that putty work. Other than that, I think everything looks really good. The skin looks nice and smooth. I'm not seeing anything that's just sticking out like I need to do any putty work or sanding. Yeah, I think everything else is looking good. Neckline is looking good.
How long have you been here, Danny?
So I think we're getting close. I think so. Mark, someone was making a comment on my Facebook, my model page about this. Everyone's asking this. Can I get a print of this? Can I get a print? It's like, no, you cannot get a print. It's a kit. And I think I'm not sure which run this is from, to be honest. I think it's kit 29, but I don't know if from. I don't know if that means it's from the first run or when it's from. Okay. Let's try this again with the putty. I just don't like doing this. I have to wait another 20-30 minutes before I can do anything, which is annoying, but I'm going to try putting it on my finger this time, see if I can force it down in there. Still want to get really on the skin if I can avoid it. A little spot underneath the left breast, so I can get in there. It's actually hard to get to. You can force dry this putty. Let's try it. Let's try force drying this. Not to wait 30-40 minutes for it to dry.
When we found all this,
Out by Danny's spot, stashed under a big rock. You said there was no chance we could make it out by sunset, not on foot. This changes everything, doesn't it?
perhaps. You saw something today, didn't you? Something.
My goal is to start painting skin tones no later than noon on this. I think I can get there. I get all the little putty work done. I started a little bit earlier today, but I have a 3 o'clock phone meeting with my doctor, so that's why I started a little bit earlier today. try saying this is 400. See how that goes.
Open the door after sunset, no matter what. That is the rule.
Who's that nicer anymore? My husband is outside.
So, as long as you're scared, I'm hurt. Pretty fast.
Playing watchers are playing with us, baiting us. This isn't
No,
real.
I know my husband's voice. It's him.
Even if it's not John Harrison, you know it's just her.
We do not open the door for anyone.
John, just wait 1 second.
Tell me what you did. Tell me how you left.
Going down in October.
My God.
Children, I help.
You knew he would follow you. You used him. I see you mean. You are angry and you are selfish. You behave like a child. I'm not supposed to be here.
And it's me. You get that?
I'm the one that's been.
Shut up, everyone, just shut up.
My husband is outside.
Stop. Wait. Wait just 1 second. Ask him something. Only he would know. What? Now's not the time to stop trusting me. Do it.
John? I'm so sorry, honey. What book am I reading? John? Yes, you do. You do, baby. We bought it at the beautiful bookshop in Dublin. You knew I loved it. You told me and reminded you of me.
Watchers. Do not spare your life.
You don't know that.
Walking out there.
Okay, that seems like that worked.
Do that every night. Tell you to my feelings.
Put some primer on there and see if it.
John, there's a camera by your feet here. You need to pick it up. I need you for me to go face so the others can see that it's you and that you're alone. And then I can open the door and you can go inside. Here.
Okay, I should be able to spot prime these areas.
We'll find another way out. Are you done breaking the rules?
Yeah, I'm gonna spot prime these areas and see how they look. Okay. I think I'm ready to start putting on the skin tone primer. So let me kind of, whatever. Let me clean up a little bit. And we'll get ready to do that. Actually, I just remembered I don't have a 3 o'clock appointment because I canceled it because they're going to charge me for a 5-minute phone call. So I canceled it. So I can work my normal 4 o'clock. Sweet. Alrighty. Hair dryer. So I think the Stynylrez says force dry. So you want to wait. You let it air dry. That also depends on how thick you put it on. I put it on pretty wet. So it says, I think air dry. If you put it on light, 8 minutes. So 3 minutes if you force dry. So it's 8 minutes air dry, but I put it on pretty wet. So basically, once it's all matted over, you can start spraying paint. It continues to cure for like the next 24 hours, but like before you can sand it. Like I said, if I force dry it, I can sand it within like 5 minutes. So, but I like to ideally let it just dry overnight. Make sure you have good adhesion and everything. And like with most paints, it will shrink as it dries. So, okay, let's see if I have enough of my light skin tone to get her covered. I hope so. I need to order another bottle of this. It's hard to find the big bottles. I usually have to call my buddy George, who's a supplier, to give me the big bottles. Okay, so this you just want to build up real slow. You don't go hose it on because it's not going to cover right away. I'm just going to take my time. I have to zoom out. I'll go work it back here because I can be able to move her around. She's such an odd shape when she's all together. So this I'm putting on fairly laminate, hosing it on. Yeah, see a spot right there. Right there, I need to do some putty work. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on. I'll force dry that spot. I'll do a little spot putty there. See, constantly finding little errors. Sometimes a great primer doesn't show it all. It's right there on the knee. It sticks out pretty good. Okay, so there's the first light coat. I'm gonna take this opportunity to do one more check over the skin. I see that little spot on the knee I want to fix. This is kind of getting real nitpicky on things. That's the one that just really sticks out right away. That's a little wrinkle in her ankle. I'm not gonna worry about that because her skin is bending. Looks like my putty work finally worked there. Anything on the face? I could use a little more. Yes, this is primer. This is Steino Res's Light Flesh Primer. It's like my go-to base skin tone for everything. I need to get more of it. I'm almost out.
Look at all this food. We lived like
Yeah.
this for years.
So I'm gonna hit that knee with the hair dryer. I'm gonna do a little spot putty on that spot. Yep, I got a few little bubbles right there. It's never ending, guys. It's constant. So I got a few little bubbles on the top of her knee. I don't know, those bubbles that just dust. I can't tell. Oh yeah, there's some little pits in the resin there.
My impenetrable fortress, here, in the center of their habitat. I call it Wonderland. They come and see me every night as I thought they would. They just stand there at the glass, watching, completely still. It's almost as if they can't help themselves. They're fascinated with me. Last night was the worst night yet. They are mastering me. At first they made sizable mistakes. They got the proportions of my eyes wrong. They miscounted the number of my fingers. But the watchers are fast learners now.
Okay.
I think I might have to treat the class now. Machines wouldn't work until I had a job.
Little spot right there.
To rely on manual labor. 13 a day. No more, no less. That was the rule. Men from neighboring towns and villages, men with no money or family. On the end of each day, I urged them to eat supper outside as I quietly slipped into the bunker, sealed the hatch, waited for their screams to subside.
Just when you think you're ready.
This creature. Visionary. But now, when I catch sight of myself in the mirror upstairs, I'm repulsed by what I see. I've been stripped of all humanity. The creature I've grown so fond of is waiting for me upstairs. One bullet through the heart should do the trick, and one for myself. The boat should be where I left it, shouldn't it? On the river, past 134, with the birds, these woods. I know now that it was never meant for me. If you found your way here, get to the boat. Follow the birds. Go to my office at the university. Destroy everything you find. Some things are meant to be left in the past.
Looks like you can force drive that putty pretty good. Let's go full blast with the dryer.
I should go and see.
Okay. Let's see where the putty's filling in those little imperfections, which is good. And I had one. Where else? I had an arm.
What did you do?
This is our last night here. We are going to dance.
Or no.
Alrighty. Continue priming, and hopefully we don't see anything else. It's looking pretty good.
Honey. Hey. Forget him, okay? Then you can come and stay with me. Okay?
So I'm gonna get this primer on, and then I have to look at my skin tone paints and see what I got. I may have to go take a break and go to the store.
You're ready. It's time to go. The forest will do everything in its power to keep you alive. They move together in front.
Ugh, trash in my. I have to get this. I may have to get this light sanding and another bath. I got a lot of trash in this. Oh my gosh, this is never ending. So let's do this.
Towards the surface. They have lost their wings. We need to keep moving.
Okay. I saw a lot of trash in the legs, probably because I wiped it down.
It's getting dark.
We still have time.
So if I give it a light wipe with the microfine. No, this is straight out of the bottle. You can thin it with a little bit of distilled water, but I never do. That's why I spray such kind of high air pressure, because it's relatively thick and it goes on smoother. Found another freaking bubble. God dang. Ugh. Right there. No little pin.
Where's Daniel?
So they're just a little microfine sanding sponge, and just lightly, if I see trash, I'm lightly grazing over it. It should pull it out, and then I may actually sign off and take a break to go to the store, and then that way when I come back, I can give her a good another bath. Um, and get all this dirt out of here, because it's so we'll see. Everyone wants to see skin tones being done. It's really hard to do them on camera. That's what everyone wants to see. Skin tones, skin tones.
You ladies all right?
Where's this bus from?
This bus goes always go.
Can you take us there?
So this little microfine is like 1,000 grit sandpaper. If I just do a light swipe, I won't go through the primer, but hopefully it'll be just aggressive enough to kind of get the dirt out, and then I can give her a bath and wash all that dust off, and hopefully
Excuse me, sir.
maybe like one more round of primer.
I'll go to the university tomorrow. Do as Kilmartin asked. We can just put this all behind us. Okay.
Did I get the swimsuit to work? What do you mean? The swimsuit's on. I just filled in this little detail line on this around her butt because I was trying to describe it earlier and it was really messy, and that's where I had to do like there's a bunch of that little edge that was chipped out just from either shipping or me working on it. So I had to sculpt that entire. I had to sculpt her whole bikini line back here with putty, and then I was trying to get that. That's a really fine detail line, and to be honest, I was like, my time is better spent just filling it in than trying to resculpt. It's like it's a tiny little line, so it looks good now. Yeah, I'll make her on the tan, a little bit on the tan side. Yeah, I'll do. I'll probably use. I mean, Jim's paint up is really good. The artist proof. She's a little sun kissed. You know, a little on the warmer skin tones.
So normally they would have vacated the office.
So that's kind of what I was going to go by.
Or something. But a group of students started a fund to keep your uncle's research as it was. There he is. Old Uncle Rory.
So going over that little microfine sanding sponge was the trick to getting that dirt out. So you got it out. This is a real light wipe. Okay, this is looking really good. I'm gonna throw another light coat of primer on her. I think I got the dirt out from what I can see. I don't think that's just sticking out. If I see something, let's give it a little. Yeah, get as much dirt. Because I tell you what, guys, all my paint jobs have dirt in them. No, I'm not gonna add blue to her. I don't want her to be blue. That would be like making it look like she's underwater. To be honest, I would totally screw it up. That's one thing like where I want to experiment on my own before I tried it on someone else's kit, because if I screwed up, then I'm stuck redoing all the skin tones over again.
Were the humans cursed and banished the fairies? What became of the halflings? History has deemed their bloodline extinct, but it is yet to be proven. Their power. Think of what we could create, who we could bring back. I leave for the forest 1 week from today.
Got one more little light coat of this, I think. Yeah, all my paint jobs have trash in them. That's why I say flat is your friend. This flat coat hides all that. I'm gonna go get some of the Bear flat coat for her skin. It's a really great. It's an awesome sealer. Like I said, my friend Anya uses it, and I've used it in the past. I haven't used it in a while, but it's a really good sealer for skin. The reason I put so many layers of this on is because I want to try to get as even layer as possible. You know, there's so many angles on this. It's challenging to get an even coat. But this is a great base. This primer is a great base color for like a pale color, and then you just add the warm tones for making her look tan. I've done skin tones where I've done this color and then just did pastels and then just blended on a really light mid-tone, and they look really good. Okay, so that's it for that right now. Nothing's popped out to me again as far as little pinholes or anything. I think I've got anything that's going to be. I don't notice anything else. So if I can't see it, no one else is going to notice it. So I'm going to put her to the side to dry.
Maybe he thought that he could bring his wife back. That he could make a new Madeline.
They come walking in the sun.
She must be different from the others. She's one of them, Kira. Madeline is one.
So I just put her back on the base to dry.
Where is she? Should she be here by now?
She'll come.
And then what time are we at? Yeah, I can go to the store. It's 11 o'clock. So I may sign off for a while, guys, and go to the store and get supplies. I got that primer dry really good. It's a good opportunity to go do that. And I've been working since before 7:30, so it's a good time to go do that. But I think when I come back, I might get back on so I can show you guys skin tones. Let's see what I have for skin tones in here. I actually have tanned flesh. This actually might be a good starting point for shadows.
I haven't gotten it quite right, but I will in time.
I want to go get some more white, metal white. I'm gonna go some more Army Painter war paints. So those are pretty good. I like, if anyone follows Ground Affected on YouTube, Brett, he's a cool dude. I've done some videos with him. I love his style. He's got this really kind of illustrative painting style. He's a tattoo artist, but he turned me on to the Fairy Flesh set. And I swear by these things, it's fucking awesome. It's so good, but it's hard to get. Like I'm out of the magic sauce. The magic color in this whole set is the medium flesh. It looks really, really pink in the bottle, but you get your flesh tone where you want, and you just do a very, very light mist coat of this, and it brings it all together. Pinkle, exactly, pinkle. So I've done that. I've tried that before, and by the time I was done with it, all the pinkle was gone. So, but yeah, this is like the bomb.com as far as skin tone set. My man, I love it. Reddish flesh is actually a good place to start. So reddish flesh, tan flesh. So like the tan flesh would be good. I can add white to that for a highlight color. But I need to go get some more. So I may sign off here while that primer dries and go to. Yeah, I tried Pinkle, and by the time I was doing a video with Brett a while ago, who's had me judge something for a contest he was running, and so yeah, I tried your Pinkle, but by the time I was done, I had no Pinkle. It's hard because it's a very distinct style, and I think it works probably better in smaller scales like he does. So it probably translates better on the smaller scales when he does that kind of what is it? Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, he does that Pinkle, which is, it looks great, man. It's very illustrative. It's got a nice punch to it. I love it. I need to play with it some more on something. So I like the way it looks.
Let's end this as equals.
But yeah, this fairy flesh set is the bomb. I've actually I bought one years and years ago at my local show, Squadron Eagle Quest, and I never used it. And then I tried it before I saw Brett's video. It's like, oh, then I started using some of his tips and tricks, and it worked great. So yeah, he's a great guy. He's a fantastic painter. Got a really cool style. So I'm gonna sign off. I need to go to the store. So I'll probably turn the camera back on when I get back. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.